And then there has to be accountability. There has to be cultural accountability. My husband talks about making perpetrators unwelcome in your community. I think that's completely legitimate. Let them be hounded out of the Netherlands. Let them be hounded out of the United States. Let them go from community to community with people knowing what they did. You know, they colluded in killing people. They colluded in suffocating our children for no reason behind masks. They colluded in discriminating, right? You can vote with your pocketbook. I never want to support another restaurant or gym or theater that, I mean, the movie theater in my town in Millerton wouldn't let me in because I'm unvaccinated. I'm never going to go to another movie in that movie theater. I'm never going to recommend it to anyone. It's powerful to, to boycott businesses that colluded. It's powerful to out them on social media. There's got to be disclosure. And the last thing I will say is that I kind of have lost patience for all Quislings. I've lost patience. I would rather work as a waitress for the rest of my life than participate in the murder of anyone, or as a journalist participate in lies. I would rather clean floors for the rest of my life. And so when I get emails, and I've got a chapter of this book, I get emails all the time from people saying, "You're so brave." Of course, I would come forward and do what you're doing, but I have, the nonsensical reason. My boss would be mad at me. And they are upper middle class, college educated, graduate school educated people who would not die. They would lose their jobs. Big deal. You'd lose your job at the Pasteur Institute. You know who you are. You'd lose your job at the Cleveland Clinic. Big deal. Look at the dissident doctors in the United States. They told the truth. They refused to collude with murder. They lost their jobs. They're fighting horrible legal battles. Our lives are so difficult, right? I lost a 6-figure investment in my company. I can never publish in the legacy media again. I don't exist in the legacy media. I can never publish another book with Random House or Simon & Schuster. All your news outlets who used to cover me, cover my books here in the Netherlands, crickets, silence, right? No one wanted to talk to me, right? I'm a non-person. Too bad, right? Too bad. I've saved millions of lives, and these dissident doctors have too. And you've suffered. Your life turned upside down, but you refused to go along with it. So I guess I would just say, knowing the history of fascism, people are kidding themselves if they think, oh, I'll just stay silent and then it will be okay. Because if you stay silent, it will not be okay. They will come for you anyway. If they want your property, they'll come for you. If they want your kids, they'll come for you. If they want your business, they'll come for you. If they don't like your ethnic minority or your ethnic majority, they'll come for you, right? If you lose your democracy and your rule of law. So the history of fascism shows that being silent is the most dangerous thing. You may lose your job now, like you and I did. You may lose your comfortable life. You may lose a lot of friends, like you and I did. But someday you're going to die, and you're going to face God. I do believe that. And you're going to be accountable for your choices. And you will be asked in this time, did you go along with this great evil, which killed so many people, which led people to die alone, which broke the spirits of children? And you'll need to account for yourself. And so for that reason, I want to be on the right side of history, as uncomfortable and financially punishing as it is. And also just practically, in the Netherlands, I see the change. I see that people are subdued here, and it used to be a vibrant, free society the last time I was here. People know there's a shadow over them. And that shadow, you guys have been here before, that shadow is not going away. If you try to comply it away, it's just going to get worse.
You talked about facing the beast regarding to what happened to us during COVID, but in your book you also said that the attack on human society is not over yet. There's more to come.
Yeah.
You mentioned GMO, mosquitoes. You mentioned disruption on the supply chain. You mentioned power blackouts, all sorts of things like food safety decline, the WHO treaty that will take over our sovereignty. I mean, the worst is yet to come, if I understand right.
Well, again, it depends on us, right? The worst attacks are yet to come, but we've been pretty successful in the United States, in about half the country, fighting back against the evildoers. So their plans have not come to fruition we're going to keep trying to thwart them. Like there's a big movement to stop this funding, U.S. funding of the WHO, and there's a bill, and it's just one example. But I guess what I want to say is we have to face the fact that a handful of sociopaths tried to kill us all or sterilize us, and they're not going to stop trying, right? So, and they're not going to stop trying to get total control. So I do see, just coming to the Netherlands, I see their agenda even more advanced here than in the United States. For example, we are fighting against facial recognition because all that is data harvested to create a hologram of everyone, basically, and then complete social credit control. And at the airport, I saw Europeans just walking through the facial recognition, walking through. They just accepted it. They accepted it, even though it's voluntary. You have the right to protest it and not go through that way. It's not true they delete the data. That's nonsense. I'm a tech CEO. They don't delete the data. They sell it to third parties, and it'll be used to track you. I see the heating issues that people are having, the high cost of heat. That's not an accident. That's not the war in Ukraine. That's intentional. There's a, I watch videos from the UK where they talk about how, using air fryers to save on utility bills and being cold, like Western Europeans were never cold, let alone hungry, and I see the attacks on the food supply. I see the Dutch farmers protesting the effort to restrict agriculture, right? All the things I predicted have come true in Western Europe as well as in North America. So I guess what I would like is for the Netherlands to understand these attacks are not going to stop. They'll always be cloaked in things like a housing crisis or an energy crisis, but they're going to try to make you censored, broke, and hungry and cold, so that and replaced by other people, so that you will go quietly. And it's up to us to resist. And we can, but we have to recognize what we're dealing with.